where I was like, okay, I had trolls, but these are trolls. Like, you on my every post. Like, I wake up in the morning and it's like, bitch, I hate you. And I'm like, damn. I'm like, hello, good morning.
Oh my
like,
God.
Have a blessed day. So,
like, bitch, I hate you too.
right. That's what I wanted to say.
Raise a glass to the past, present, and future you with actress Danielle Moné Truitt as she dives into the beautiful complexities of life's journey through real, transparent conversation. All the women I've been made me into who I've been.
Hey, I'm Danielle Moné Truitt, and I'm back with another episode of All the Women I've Been. Thank y'all for continuing to tune in to our awesome podcast where you get to meet so many dope people. This season has been every season just raises the bar, you know, and the conversations that we're having and the people that I'm getting to talk to. And today's podcast episode is no exception. I have the lovely and just heartwarming Lellies Santiago, who is a TV personality. I enjoy following her on Instagram. She is pretty dope and kind of reminds me of myself. So y'all tune in for this episode of All the Women I've Been. Lellies! Yay! I'm so happy you're here.
I'm so happy.
Oh, okay. So let me just tell you, this is like my second time meeting you in person.
Yes.
But I know the first time was over Zoom when you had me on your chats that you do.
I was doing like my little BBDC Woman of the Week. So,
Yes.
yeah.
So thank you for having me on there. Andrew told me about you or whatever. And then after we talked, I told Andrew, I was like, I just love her. Like, she's so cute. Just such a great personality. Like, I love to see you. I am from an older generation. And so the whole like social media influencer thing is like very much more you guys' thing. And I'm kind of trying to figure out, how do I do this?
Like,
you know,
what's this emoji?
and do I care?
Right.
Like, do I actually, do I care about this that much, you know? And so I try to push myself to do like little content things, but when I tell you, they exhaust me.
Yeah.
I be like, how does that, but you be on it. You be on it.
I feel like the biggest thing is people always think that like it's so easy. Like when they look at it, they're like, oh my God, I just want to do what she doing. Like I want to live the life that she living. It's like, these people think I live in Beverly Hills. It's like, no, I'm from the, you know, I'm from the projects, from the PJs. You know what I'm saying? But it's hard and it's rewarding at the same time. I feel like that's like the best way that I could put it, because there are times where you get like creative blocks and you're like, oh my God, what am I going to put up? You know what I mean? And not only that, but entrepreneurship, because I do this full time. Like I am a hustler.
Girl, I love it.
Yes, it's a great thing. And then sometimes, you know, it's highs and lows. Like one day I wake up and I'm like, all right, so what am I going to make today? Like what money am I going to make? So, you know, it's an up and down process, but I love it. I really do. Like I can't see myself, not to say a 9-to-5 is bad, but I just can't see myself doing it.
I feel you. I'm not a 9-to-5er.
Yeah.
I tried it when I was in college and I was like, this is not the life for me. I'm a creative. And so I'm gonna pursue that. Now, how do you find inspiration when you have your blocks?
Oh my gosh. I always and this is like weird, but I always go back to like my DMs. And it's crazy because like I get like millions of DMs, no lie, like every day. And sometimes like the women that I inspire, they send the most nicest messages. Like I try to write back to as much as I can, but like I always look back and see how much I motivate and inspire so many different women. And it's not like putting out the content, but just being myself, like just being a light. And I've always gotten that, like, yo, you're such a light. I met this girl at my panel one time, and this was my first time like actually being outside, because like people know me from social media, but they haven't like seen me or like been able to like touch me to be like, oh my God,
you're a real person.
Yeah. So last year I finally was like, I'm outside. Like I'm outside, and I was at this panel, and no lie, this girl came up to me and was crying. And I was like, oh my God, I was like, girl, don't cry, you gonna make me cry, because like I'm an empath sometimes. And she was just like, you inspire me so much. Like you push me, you make me feel more confident about myself. And just hearing those things, like it always just brings me back to be like, this is why I do it. And this is my purpose.
Well, you know, Lellies, I have to say that we see a lot of content creators out there, and some of them you can tell there's not a lot of heart behind it. Like there's not like a purpose attached to what they're doing. It's more because they want to make money or whatever it might be.
The aesthetic.
It's the aesthetic. It's very superficial. And for you, as gorgeous as you are, stylish as you are, you have a good heart.
Yes.
You know, you can, and that's, I think, what draws women to you that need to be encouraged and lifted up, you know?
It's so funny, right? Because I don't normally tell this. This is like my first time like speaking about it, but
this is what this podcast does. This is so you know, it makes people talk about things that they don't usually talk about.
It's not even alcohol. Usually I need like a little shot.
But it's so crazy. Like growing up, I wasn't a girl's girl. Like I wasn't. I was a tomboy. I was raised by my father. So I was very much like a boy. Like I was one of the guys. I had more male friends than I had female friends. I literally, like I grew up I have 8 sisters, right?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Lord.
Sisters.
Wow.
And I have 3 brothers. But the real thing is, even having those siblings, I still grew up as an only child. So I had that only child
younger
syndrome.
than them, or?
So I'm like the middle child because I do have 2 little sisters that's younger than me, and a brother that's younger than me. Yeah, my daddy didn't stop.
Okay.
Yeah,
was he a Rolling Stone?
He was a Rolling Stone.
Papa was a Rolling Stone.
Yes. So I grew up as an only child, but then like my father introduced me to like this other side, which was like his friends. So I had a god sister that I grew up with. So me and her built the sister bond, right? Okay. So now going into high school and everything, I didn't care to have friendships because I was like, as long as I got my god sister, I don't care.
I'm good.
Yeah, like I'm good. And it would be funny because like people would want to be my friends, and I'd be like, no, I don't want to be a friend. Like they'll come up and be like, hey, how you doing? I'm like, what's up? Like that was me. It was very much like I'm not showing everything. I'm not giving you it all. But it really was because the friendships that I did have, or like the friendships that I did experience, somebody always did me wrong. Like somebody either like spread a rumor about me that was lies. And I always felt like, like they played me.
Yeah, like you can't trust women.
Yeah. So I kind of just grew like this hatred to be like, I'm good. Like I don't need friends. I don't want them. And I remember this was like maybe when I was 21, me and my god sister stopped being friends. Like something big happened and like it was over a guy and we just stopped. Like, right, cold turkey. My dad always told us like, don't never let no man get between y'all. Yeah. And it happened. And like going through that process of now I'm alone, right? Like before it was...
Because you didn't build any other friendships.
None. Yeah. So when I tell you, I was like, what am I going to do today? Like I have no friends, like I have nothing. And I think that pushed me to step out of my comfort zone because I was such a quiet kid. So once I saw myself like start stepping out, I started to see how many people was just gravitating to me. And I think that through this process, like up until, I'm going to say like maybe 3 years ago is when I really opened up to be like, no, women are great. Women are phenomenal. And meeting so many different people from different walks of life, it was just beautiful to like know about them. And I'm a type of person where it's like, I want to be your friend because of like your story. Yeah, like I don't get like, even if you look at my friends today, they're not your typical, oh, she just hang out with a whole bunch of like, girls like her. It's like everybody is in something different. I love that about myself. And I think that the authenticity that I look for in a friendship, it just shows. And I think that it also just resonates for me and how I like project to the world of like how I am.
So how many like core friends, girlfriends do you have?
Core, I would say, let me count them. I would say 4.
Okay.
Yeah, 4.
And then how do you categorize? So it's like you have like your best friends, and then you have like your like close friends, right?
You got the outside friends.
Yes, your work friends.
Yes.
And like associate people, right?
So I would say I have 2 best friends. I have a boy best friend and a girl best friend. Yes, they're both cancers, love them down. And then I have like my close friends, and my close friends is about like 4 of them. Okay. Like those are my girls. Like I could do anything with them. Be in a house, I can cry with them. I could do about anything. One of my friends, she actually lost her mom too when she was young. Yeah, and she grew up with her dad. So it's like we have a bond. You know what I mean? Like every friend that I have a bond with. Right. And I love that.
I love that. So I know you said you lost your mom when you were young. And I know you were very young, so you didn't know her very well. But do you ever think about like how you might have been different if your mom had have lived?
All the time.
Yeah.
All
What
the
do
time.
you think about?
Sometimes I'm so jealous when I see like women or like my friends with their mothers, and they're just like, oh, they get on my nerve, and I'm just like, ugh, I wish, like, I wish my mom could get on my nerve or something. But growing up, it was kind of tough. Like when Mother's Day would come around, it would be so hard for me. Like every Mother's Day, I would just turn off, be in my room, be to myself, because I just wanted that. Like I feel like I never got that motherly love, like that part of like my femininity. Like I don't feel like, I still feel like to this day sometimes like I struggle with it, with just being a woman and being soft. Like it's so hard. Like I'm such a like, you know, gung-ho, like, oh, you know, I'm opening my own doors. It's like, first of all, sit down. It's like, sit your behind down. So, like, even so, my man sometimes get on me because I'll go after a door. He'd be like, oh, thank you, sir. And I'll be like, okay, let me be quiet. But, you know, like growing up, it was tough. And I leaned on my brother a lot because I also wasn't that close with my mom's side of the family growing up. Because it was like a big, like, just, you know, family drama.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel close to them as I guess I would if my mom was here. So when I did lean on my brother, I would always ask my brother, like, so what was mom like? Like, what was she? And the amount
because you two had the same mom. I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't that close with so on my mom's side, let me break it down for you.
Okay.
On my mom's side, my mom had 2 boys and 2 girls. So one of my brothers is in DR, and then one was here, and my sister was here.
Okay.
But I didn't really have like a relationship with her. For some reason, we just never clicked. And I don't know why, but like I feel like it's getting better now, and it's a work in progress.
Is she older than you?
Yes.
Okay.
So she is like the middle child. So I'm the baby of my mom.
Okay.
So I would always, my brother, he went into the Navy, but he did not miss a beat. Like anytime he came down, he was with me. He always like poured into me, and he brought me around my mother's side of the family because he always wanted me to feel a part of my family.
Right.
And you know, like even with that, it was tough because he had his own things, you know, like no parent is perfect. So he had his own things like with our mom, but he never let me see that part. Like it was always, let me just tell you the good about mommy.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I got a sense of her. I see videos, and like they used to tell me that like she used to call back home and be like, oh, my little morita, like was moranita, something like that. But because of my skin complexion, she loves my skin complexion. So, you know, that was a beautiful thing, but it's just tough. It was always tough. And even like to this day, I wish I could be like, Mom, let me do your makeup, or let me take you out with me. You know what I mean? Like, I wish I had those moments to just like spend like a girl's day or something like that. So,
it's so funny because I wanted to talk to you about, you know, female relationships. Had no idea of your backstory till just now. So that's very cool.
Yeah, I don't normally go deep.
So you being in you're in the beauty space. You're a model. I know you're an actress, you know, and like you said, with the content that you post, you have a lot of women who are inspired by what you do. You started tell me what it's called?
BBDC.
The BBDC. Tell me about that.
So BBDC is a women empowerment. So it's like something that I started because I just wanted to make a safe space for women. You know what I mean? And before it was just like, oh, let me just bring influences out. But then I started to notice the impact that it was making. And I was like, no, I want everybody to feel special. You know, like I did a BBDC makeover. I do like events. But it's mainly for you to come, network, meet people, and maybe leave with a friend. You know what I'm saying? So I actually like really loved it because the amount of people that was talking about it when they would leave. And, you know, when you go to events, like I've been to a lot of like events, and it's very, like you said, superficial, right? So when I curated this event, I actually look at these girls' pages. Like I'm like, let me see what type of person she is. Let me see if she's a real girls girl. Because people say they're girls, and really not. Yeah. So I like to like really look into people and then like pick them out, like, and be like, okay, I'm gonna put these girls in a room, and it always worked out.
I love
so, you know, like BBDC is just something to just empower women, like shout women out. We support each other, and it's going to turn into more things.
So this is why I love you, because we do have a lot in common. How old are you, Lellies?
28.
28.
29.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm lying. See?
29. Okay. So yes. So I am 43. But
Don't
I
look like it.
Thank
You
you,
are
baby.
gorgeous.
Thank you
Oh
so
my
much.
gosh.
But I really do see, when I met you and then I started looking at your page and stuff like that, you just have a lot of things in common with myself and how I feel about women and empowering us and forming community for women.
Yeah.
And it's not because I've always had the most amazing relationships with women either.
Right.
I think it's because I have not, and I want to build that and give women opportunity to just be themselves. I want to be the kind of woman that when I come in the room or you're around me, you feel taller.
Yes.
You don't feel less than, and one thing I struggled a lot with when I was younger, high school and college. And that's the time when, women, we're not all the way developed. We're not mature at all. Everybody's still competing. And I got put down, or I felt put down a lot when I was in high school and even in college, for being myself. I am a ham.
Right.
I am a ham, which means I am like the life of the party.
Yes. Okay.
When I want to be.
Right.
And other times I'm very introverted.
A great analogy.
Yeah, that's what my mom calls it. She's like, "You're such a ham." So that's where I got it from. But when I was a little girl, I'm like singing and dancing and like my nana used to have a mirror in her living room. She had the couch, and then behind the couch there was like a mirror on the wall, like the full wall. And I would hop up on the couch and I would just be in the mirror, just looking at myself, And then when I got older, anytime we walk past a car window or something, I'm like looking. So I'm like, my family always teases me about that. But performing and, just talking and getting to know people was a big part of my personality when I was very young. When I got to high school, that's when you start meeting girls and stuff and they get intimidated by your energy. Nobody's in their power at all, really, and if you show a sign of being in your power and knowing who you are, they're intimidated by it. So I'm a singer, and when I was in high school, that's all I did. That's what I was known for, singing, and, girls would, "Oh, Danielle, you can sing," and I'd be like, "Yeah," and they'd be like, "See, she thinks and I grew up in the hood, it was a constant, everything was just a constant argument, battle, who said this about you? Crazy? Yeah, first week of school in high school, I went to a rough high school. I didn't have any older cousins that went there. My siblings were younger than me. I'm the oldest. So I was like, look, I gotta make sure I'm on point when I get to high school so these bitches know. Right. Don't try me, okay? So it's really not my personality because I'm like a lover, but I'm like, I got to protect myself. So I had to put on a very hard exterior. So if I heard of anybody, somebody said something about me, I'm like, you said what?
Right, exactly. You got to stand your ground.
Right. I'm surprised I have never been in a fist fight ever in my life. I don't know how I didn't get jumped on the way home from school, but I never did. But I think I think it is because of what I do now. I'm an actor.
Right.
And for whatever reason,
it's good to turn it on, turn it off.
They believed me when I was like, bitch. Yeah. They believed what I was saying. They believed it.
It's so funny that you say that, right? So it's two things that you said that just resonated with me. So one of them is when you went to a new high school, that so obviously high school is 4 years. I went to a different school every year. Yes.
Oh my God.
So I was always the new girl.
Dang.
Yeah. I always had girls either wanting to be my friend
or hating you.
Or hating me because I'm the new girl. The new girl in school, all the boys like, yo, who's that?
Right?
Yeah. So, and I will always be like, I'm to myself. Like I'm sitting at my own table and people just migrate to my table. It's always been that. And I remember one time, there's another part of what you said. One time a girl was like, she called me her twin, whatever, because that was like a thing in Jersey. She called me her twin, and she was like, yeah, this my twin. The next day, I guess she heard from someone that I was talking about her, which was a lie. Right. I never talked about her. And she started spreading rumors that she was going to jump me after school. So I said, oh, Really?
Okay. And I got brothers. Oh, 8 sisters and 3 brothers. And I'm a tomboy. So come on.
Exactly. So I was ready. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So as soon as I heard it, I remember going to the the library, and I called my sisters. And if you from Jersey, they from Avon Ave, Pilgrim Village, and very much hood. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, listen, this girl said she gonna jump me. So, and they like, all right, we're gonna be there after school. 2 cars pulled up. My sister's like, where they at? And I was like, nowhere to be found.
Okay.
Yeah. So from there, it was like, okay, we not messing with her, or like nobody just, I guess, tried me. You know what I'm saying? But that was a lot, because it's just like coming into school. Why do I got to do this?
Yeah, and you learn at a young age that you have to build up this exterior where you can't let anybody in.
Yes.
You know, and for me, the way it translated for me, it was like, oh, I'm too much. Like, I'm too much. I want to have friends. And I had friends. I was popular.
Yeah.
By the time I got to my junior year, I had let go of my little rough exterior, and I was like, you know, nominated for homecoming princess or whatever. Yeah, I was very popular.
Yeah.
But I had to chill out. The first 2 years, I had to let them know, don't try me.
Right.
And then after that,
They always say that though, like freshman year is like the fresh meat. Like
you gotta
everybody
know.
goes
Yeah,
down.
and the boys too. I'm like, like it's
Right.
not happening. So, but what I realized is I just lost some of my just authenticity of like, hey, this is me. I'm not ashamed of my gifts.
Yeah.
Like, this is who I am.
Yeah.
You know, and then as I got older, got into college, you know, there were people, when I was in college, man, I was just
What's
fly
that?
all the time.
Yeah.
Like,
How is that experience? I've never,
You didn't go to
I didn't go to
college?
college.
okay, yeah.
And, like literally when I graduated, I mean, I went straight to working. Like I was like a working girl,
wow,
getting
that's
books,
awesome.
video shoots. Like it was like that.
Yeah.
Like, and I always say like I wish I experienced college, because I feel like the thing that comes from it is one, public speaking. I feel like you're just better at like just speaking. It took me like some time to like really get like, I guess like the courage to speak in front of a lot of people, because I was like nervous and I was shy.
Right.
But not only that, but also just networking and learning how to network.
Yeah.
Because coming from being closed off and not really a girl's girl, it was like, so how are you networking exactly? You know what I mean? And mine was, I'm only going after the people that's behind the camera, that's working the event or working the shoot. Like I could care less about anybody else that was in it. You know what I mean? But I feel like that part of college is so important.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, it depends on what college you go to, honestly, and what kind of experience you have. I didn't go away to college. I went to college in my hometown. So I didn't have the dorm experience. No, I didn't have any of that.
Okay.
But I had, when you say, that's so funny, learning how to speak in front of people, because communications is one class you have to take, you know, where that's exactly what you're doing. And it does kind of give you an edge in, you know, just the workforce, and depending on what area you want to go into. But also it helps you develop a sense of, college can help you develop a sense of just individuality and like understanding what you want to do. It kind of gives you a pathway to get there. It's not the only way though. I was talking to my kids last night. My 10-year-old, my 13-year-old, so proud of him. He's getting an award from his school. They pick like 3 or 4 black students from the school to give them an award for black students that show academic promise.
Oh, okay.
So he's getting an award, and he's excited. He was so excited and just cheesing and stuff. So
He has to do a speech?
I don't know if he has to do a speech, but, and of course he's such a 13-year-old. He's like, I don't want to go.
Oh, of course.
I said, where you going?
Yeah.
And the whole family gonna be there to embarrass you. So his little brother, my youngest, was like laying there. I said, did you say congratulations to your brother? He was like, no. I said, why? He was like, he didn't say congratulations to me when I was on the honor roll. I said, well, did you say congratulations to him when he was on the honor roll too? He was like, no. And Jackson was like, I did say congratulations. So I'm like talking to him. So then I was like, I said, Roro was like, well, I don't even understand what the award is, you know?
Oh gosh.
And so I said, well, by him getting this award, it's just an encouragement for him to keep going. And I said, Jackson's going to high school next year, so he's closer to going to college, like, you know. And so Roro goes, I said, do you want to go to college, Roro? Now, Roro is a little genius.
I'm about to say,
he's advanced and everything, straight A's. I said, do you want to go to college? He was like, I have a choice?
Oh.
You done opened up a can.
I was like,
no, I was just saying you want to go, but
I said, I mean, you do have
Right.
a choice. I said,
Oh,
I
okay.
think you should go to college, you know. I said, but if you don't go to college, you have to have a plan.
Right.
You have to have some kind of plan for your life. And the way these kids are these days, like, he's a huge gamer. So for all I know,
But that could be,
he can
that's
still
an
go to
avenue.
college for
Yeah,
gaming
gaming.
too. But the world is different than
It
it
is.
was when we were in high school and stuff.
Yeah.
There were less avenues to go down and less options. It was
Yeah.
like, you know, so the fact that
even
you
when I
didn't
did,
go to
yeah.
college, the fact that you didn't go to college, like, and you're doing what you're doing,
Yeah.
it shows there's something unique about,
Right.
there's just something unique about your experience and your life experience that
Yes.
you got to have. Because when you go to college, you're still a little sheltered from the real world.
Yeah.
You went straight into the real
Yeah.
world,
Yeah.
which gives you an edge.
Yeah.
You know?
It definitely gave me an edge. But at the same time, it was hard when I also still wanted to have a job and an entrepreneur life, right? Because even so, when I graduated, it still wasn't like social media wasn't like huge
No,
like
yeah.
it is now,
Right,
right?
right.
So I still had to like grow the old way, which is connections.
Yeah.
So one of the things, it's funny that you said you got to have a plan to your son, because when I told my dad, I was like, I don't want to go to college. And he was like, what do you mean you don't want to go to college? And I'm like, I don't want to go. One, because, and this was a thing that I've never told my dad, but I was like, you know, he was a single parent. So I didn't want him to have to pay for it. I didn't want him to have to, you know what I mean? So I held on to that because I'm like, I don't want my dad going through that. So I'm going to just do what I know. And with my father, he was a police officer, and then he retired, and then he wasn't working, and he hustled. So all I saw growing up was, oh, my dad is like hustling, like
Making it
regardless
happen.
of, he's making it happen, and regardless of what, every Christmas always has something. And if I didn't, maybe a week later I got something. You know what I'm saying? So coming out, you know, I had told him, and he was like, so what you want to do? And I'm like, Dad, I want to be a model. And it's like, Dad, you groomed me to be a model. Like literally
Right.
when I was younger, my whole family knows me from wearing heels. Like I'm always clacking around the house. They're like, oh, this is the little girl that just wears shoes all day.
Right.
And I was like, I just loved it. I loved walking in heels, even being a tomboy, because it was heels or it was basketball shorts and 50 cent tank
Girl,
tops.
you sound like me.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
It was either or. So when I told him that, he was like, well, I want you to be like a sheriff's officer. He wanted me to be a sheriff's, right? He wanted me to be in a courtroom because he felt like that was safer and I'm still making money.
And you can have health insurance and
Right. And
Yeah.
he just wanted to make sure that I was good off.
Yeah.
And, you know, coming from that being his background, he knew what it came with. So he was like, this is what I want you to do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to do that. And me and my dad fought night and day. And I said, you know what? Cool. I'm going to take the test. Because I can do it. I just don't want to do it.
I just don't want to do it. Yeah.
Took the test, I feel like I got like an 85 on the test, passed, and they automatically gave me like, hey, do you want to sign up for this? They gave me options of what I can. And I showed my dad and I said, I passed. And he was like, I told you. He's so happy. And I said, I don't want to do this, Dad.
Yeah.
I just wanted to show you that I could do it, but I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And it took him a while because he comes from a different time where
Absolutely.
like this is nothing to him. Like he's like, what
is
is
that?
social media?
Right.
What are you talking about?
Right.
So when I started to do, I started off doing photo shoots, working a regular 9 to 5, and then I went into video shoots, and then he started seeing me on TV. It's like now his friends are going up to him like, yeah, I saw your daughter in Rick Ross video, or you know what I mean? Like I saw Lil Uzi. So now I started to build a name for myself, and when he started seeing that I was getting paid for doing what I love,
Yeah.
I remember it. Oh my gosh, I remember it because he's never said it to me. And he called me one day and he was like, I'm so proud of you. And he was like, I want you to keep going. And I was like, thank you. Because that's all I needed.
Well, having that validation from your parents is important.
it's so
It is.
important.
As much as we try to, people try to say like, oh, I'll do what I want. And,
Yeah.
you want you do want your parents to support you. And
Yes.
even if they don't fully understand what you're doing, you want them to, you want them to support
Yeah,
you.
to just be like, keep going. Yeah, and I got you if you ever fall. Like, just keep going. And now it's like, for me being on the show, and then, I had got like a billboard, and he's just like, I'm so proud of you. He's like, yo, you got this. Like, and he's like, walking around with like pictures of me.
Showing all his friends,
Girl.
and that's my dad, child. I was at the golf course and I told such and such, you was on TV, on Law and Order. I'm like, Dad, why are you showing these old ass pictures?
Don't know. My dad went the crazy, I guess the other mile to be like, I was working with this hair company. I don't know if you ever heard of Outre. It looks like Outre, but it's Outre.
Oh, okay,
right.
Yes,
exactly. So I used to work with them, and I'm still in like a lot of the beauty supply stores, but like on the ponytails, right? Yes. I go inside my dad's house. He got 2 ponytails hanging up on the wall because he got my face. I'm like, Dad, why you got this on the wall?
Something my mom would do. That is so funny. But they just be proud.
So proud.
They just be proud.
So proud. And
so
I love it. I really do.
I love that. So yeah, like I think when it comes to, the female relationships or whatever and friends, there's just sometimes a lot of competition that happens. How have you navigated dealing with, if you've had friendships where there was, even some of our good friendships, we experience, there's jealousy sometimes.
I call it healthy jealousy.
Yes, because it really should motivate you to be more. But how do you deal with that within your friendships or just within other women that are in your space?
Yeah.
That are in the social media space that you might be at events with, that it's like, we're cool, but you're a little funny, a little weird, you know.
So it's a few things, right? So now I am lucky enough to say that like my friends have always supported me. So it's never felt like a competition. It always was like, hey, so I got this idea, and they would come to me and tell me about it. And I'm like, yo, I think you should do this. And it's always worked out, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm lucky enough to have friends around me where we don't compete. It's literally like, hey, I want you to come with me. Now I'm gonna bring you to this premiere. You say you want to do content, or I'm gonna bring you with me so that you can now see how it is. Yeah. But I need you to work while you're there.
Right.
Like, I'm like the accountability friend, right? Mm-hmm. So, I've always been good in that. But when I get into like the fields, it has been a challenge, right? Mm-hmm. Because there are people who maybe not in the same like lifestyle beauty of me, but like they have been in different parts where let's say they're using like my videographer, they use like mine. I'm like, I don't like that. Like
And don't be using my
go
people.
use somebody else. Yeah, like why are you using my plugs? You know what I'm saying?
Especially if we do the same thing.
Right. I don't like that. And then I'm telling my video, don't use the same stuff that you do with me. Don't do that with them.
Right, the same stuff. Because you want your brand to be unique. Yes. Of course.
Yes, and I want it to look a certain way because I'm sensitive about my shit. So I've run into those instances where I'm just like, oh, I don't like that. Or maybe I don't get too close to somebody because I'm like, you gonna take my my connections, and I don't like that. And now I'm like holding it hostage. Yeah. And it was up until recently where like my beautiful manager, he spoke to me, and he was just like, listen, if you aren't a person that people want to use, then you're nothing. So it's better that you are, I forgot the word that he used, but it's better that you are someone to use than someone where it's like, I don't need nothing from her, so I'm not even gonna pay her no mind. Exactly. And when he told me that, I was like, I guess you're right. Like, it does make sense. And the other part of that was, man, I started to build relationships with people that was in my field. And then later found out like, oh no, you're not really my friend. You really just trying to like get things from me, right? Because that ties into exactly what I'm talking about. Right. And I think that that got to me a lot too, like early in this career. And I feel like if I came into it going, this is my job, then that wouldn't have bothered me. And I spoke to one of my friends, I call her like my cousin, but she's in the industry. And when I told her about this, I was just like, yeah, like I feel like I be building real relationships with these girls. And it's like, these girls be playing me. Like they don't really want to be friends with me. No, they just want to be next to me to get the benefits from me. Absolutely. And she told me the most OG thing ever. And it was, this is your job. This is a 9 to 5. When you clock in, you are friends with them. Just like your coworkers. Yeah. Will you tell your coworkers your business? Will you tell your coworkers where you're going? So treat it like a job. And I said, you know what? You are right. Yeah. So it definitely was a learning process. But now I am in the space where I'm like, everybody got their own lane. Why we competing?
Absolutely.
Why you can make money out here. There is money for everybody. And if I could plug you in, I'm fine with that. Because it's not going to take from my plate.
There's enough for us all.
It's enough.
And when you hold on too tightly to things, that's when you lose it.
That's exactly. That's when you lose it. And I was like, not a lot of times, but I was humbled at one point where it was a slow season. Slow. I had to pray on it. I felt like God was like isolating me, and I was just like, all right, now let me redirect. Let me see what it is that I need to change about myself and about how I move in this industry. And I think that the biggest thing was I just kept asking God, like, what's my purpose? What's my purpose? And the more that I came outside, the more that I started to realize what my purpose was. And it was to uplift and inspire women. And the only way that you can do that is to give them game. And it's like, to give them game is to what? Give them what you have off of your plate to be like, yo, this is what you can do and you can build it. And I'm not looking for nothing from it.
Right.
So it was
we want everybody to win.
Yeah.
My best friend and I started something called the Her Experience, and we did a brunch this past summer for about 40 women in Los Angeles. But before that, when I was, God, I think I was your age. I was like 28, something like that.
Yeah.
I was married. My husband at the time started a ministry. But before he started the ministry, me and my best friend started a women's ministry called The Gate Called Beautiful. Ooh. And it was based on the scripture that talks about, in the Bible, there's, it's like the temple, and inside of the temple of women, there was a gate called The Gate Called Beautiful. And it's a place for women to go to be refreshed. And that's what The Gate Called Beautiful was for us. It was like a women's ministry, and we would basically get together once a month and just talk about life, the things that we were experiencing. And most of us were in our 20s at that time, maybe early 30s. Yeah. I was about 27 at this time, I think. And so that's when my heart toward women, I think, kind of shifted when I moved away from home and from, the people that knew me and people that I felt like I couldn't shine in front of without them trying to dim it down. I moved to LA, and I was around a lot more women that were kind of on the same trajectory as myself. Yeah. And so we started that ministry. Then my ex-husband decided he wanted to start a church. So the women's ministry kind of became a part of the church, which I don't think was ever God's intention for our women's ministry. I think it was supposed to be something of itself, because I think
does that limit it? Like
it limited it. It limited it a lot, because when we attached it to church, everybody has an idea of you go to this church, you go to this church, and so our women's ministry was women from every different church, just coming together to fellowship. So when our women's ministry got attached to this church, then it was like, well, I can't come unless I go to that church. Right. So it just slowly over time wasn't what it was supposed to be. But when it was thriving, I hosted retreats called Glow Retreats, and we did like a beauty brunch, and it was beautiful. And then me and my ex-husband got divorced. I went through a time of isolation, and I wasn't a part of a church anymore.
That is a rough time.
Girl, so rough. But like now in the last couple years, God has just brought it back into my heart. Like your ministry is not necessarily under the roof of a church, but I gave you one, and it is to empower women. That's the reason why I have this podcast right now. This podcast is not necessarily so that I can make $1 million. Would I like to make $1 million in this podcast? Of course. Absolutely. Okay, let's get that straight. However, the heart behind and the purpose behind it is, if there's 50 people or 50 million people watching this, I hope that the women watching and even the men watching are inspired, that they know that, their life is just beginning, no matter where they're at in their process. Yes. And that there's going to be a whole bunch of different seasons for them. But recently we started the Her Experience, and then I saw your
BBDC, BBDC. So it's Breaking Boundaries, Don't Compromise.
Oh, I love it. I saw that. And so it makes me happy to see that there are women in different parts of the country, different spaces that
are still doing it.
all have the same heart
Yes.
toward this group of people. And no matter if we do things together or if we do things separate, the mission is being accomplished through us doing it in our unique way.
Yeah.
With that said, the Her Experience, we want to do these brunches in different states and different places. So I would love to talk to you in the future about maybe us coming together to put on a brunch here in New York.
Yes.
I think
oh my gosh, I would love that. I think the dope thing about having a brand like that is to bring on other brands and partner with different people to make it a bigger thing, because it's not about like, yes, everybody want to make money. I get it, right? But it's a bigger picture, and the bigger picture is bringing like-minded people, like-minded women around each other to just experience a great time. Let down their hair, be yourself. Like, you don't need to come in here and be no one else but yourself. I think that was the biggest thing for me when I was doing my brunches. It was just like everybody was coming there, and it's like I see them on social media and how they are, and now they over here twerking at the table.
They're free.
Yeah, they're free.
Yeah.
And it's like you're not your normal girls, but it's like and your normal girls that's just like combining and getting to know each other, and then to see them on social media showing each other love, and they never knew each other before.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's so dope. And it's funny that you spoke about a retreat, because that's something else that I wanted to do. Is like give a full day where it's like they can either get a massage or facial and then just experience like luxury and just sit.
Well, we did it for a weekend.
Really?
Friday to Monday.
Ooh,
Friday to Monday.
that's a good time.
We did.
Having another one of
Well,
those.
let's talk, because we can create something. I would be totally down. I mean, that is something I want to start doing again, but it allows women to get away. Yeah. And we would do like prayer walks while together. We would do like just times of like encouraging one another in we would have certain themes or whatever. So kind of like how they do like workshops or master classes and stuff. The weekend would be full of master classes. We would break the women up into, so say it was like 15 of us that went on the retreat. On Friday, a certain 5 would be responsible for lunch. The other 5 would be responsible for cooking dinner. So we're all cooking our own meals together. We're staying in the same, house together.
Oh, I love that.
And it was...
That's an experience.
It is. Exactly. It is an experience. And it really changes. I think the main goal is, especially when you're dealing with women who are achieving a lot of success, we a lot of times are only engaged with because of, like you said, of what we can give or what we can offer.
Right.
Not for who we are.
Right.
And we go to these events and we're looking for connection. We're looking to connect with someone, and that person is not looking for connection. They're looking for what they can get from you. Yes. Or how is this person going to help me elevate my career? And what people don't understand is when you make connection and bond with people,
it automatically happens.
That happens organically. And nobody leaves the relationship feeling used. Ooh. Or feeling like, oh, you weren't really real. You just...
I done poured so much in your cup. My cup is empty. Man, can I get some back?
Exactly. Yeah, so at this time in my life, it's like I'm spending less time with people that I always have to be the one pouring in. I'm always pouring in. I'm always paying. I'm always giving the advice. I'm always hosting. I'm always, you want to go here?
Can we talk about that?
I can't do it no more.
Because... sometimes that happens with like your closest friends.
Absolutely.
And it's like, and I'm a Leo. I'm like loyal to the soil, right? So it's so hard to, I guess like not cut somebody off, but like a friendly, like, hey, goodbye. Like I can't be friends with you no more because I feel like I'm pouring and I'm not getting anything back. And it's like, just recently I did this most healthiest thing. I heard it in my church and it was like, this next season, you're going to need people behind you that's just like you. You know what I mean? And you're going to need prayer warriors. You're going to need, and I said, at this time, this was when I was in my isolation, and I looked, it's crazy because when you turn like 26, 27, your brain fully develops.
Because you're about to, your frontal, we talked about that on the episode. Your frontal lobe develops fully.
And you start looking at everybody.
And then,
like,
girl, when you get to be
40,
really? oh.
It's like, I'm done with you.
Oh, I you know what? I will say probably the women that I've talked to that are older, like 50, I think that's when it's
I
like,
say the 50s is the
when
time.
it's 50, it's like, there's no conversation. In the
Okay.
40s, you're still like, I'm done with you, but I'm going to give you not even a chance, but I'll at least hear you out.
Got it.
But you still got to stay over there.
Right.
50s, it's like,
Stop, I'm done talking to you. Yeah.
it ain't even
Cold
no
turkey.
talking. Right.
Yeah. So I was thinking about it, and I'm like, let me look at my circle. And I started to, like, one by one, okay, what are you here for? What do we have in common? What are you bringing into this relationship? And I said, I'm going to make a Google Meet, and I'm going to send it to my friends. And I made a Google Meet, sent it to their Gmail. I said, what's y'all email? Sent it to their email. And they joined it. It was like, and in the email, I also said, hey, I want to have a conversation about how things have been. So, you know, get everything together on what topics that you want to talk about, but these are my topics. And they joined, I was about to say live, they joined that Google Meet, and they were just like, okay, like one of my friends had bullet points.
Like, this happened.
Yeah.
You
right.
said that.
Loved
and
it.
You didn't show up when
Right.
blah, blah, right.
And you know, we went through it, and I'm talking about things that I didn't like. They're telling me things that they didn't like. And what the biggest part that came from that conversation was, what is your love language as a friend? How do I need to show up for you? Like, how am I being a friend to you right now? And how do you expect me to be a friend to you?
Yeah.
And I think that that's so important to friendships, because that's what builds a friendship. That's what builds
realness.
Real.
Not this person did something to you. And especially if it's a friend group.
Yeah.
And you not saying that, I'm not going to say nothing to Lellies, but I'm going to go talk to, like, do you know what she did?
Yeah.
Like that.
So I always say this. I'm like, if you have a problem with me, let me know. Because 9 times out of 10, I didn't know that I hurt your feelings.
Exactly.
I don't know. And if you let me know, then I'm able to apologize or show up the way that I should.
Yeah.
And I've always been that type of friend. So, and I always used to say, like, I'm extremely, like, raw. Like, I'm raw to my friends. I tell them everything that needs to be said. And sometimes it may come off a little harsh, but I need you to tell me, like, all right, you being a little rough with me, you know? Right. And I learned that now, even when they come to me for advice and they talk to me, sometimes your friends want advice and sometimes they don't. And now my answer is always, okay, so how do you feel?
Do you
need my advice?
Right, exactly.
Because if you don't,
just telling me,
I'm just here to listen.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So I never want to overstep. But to go back to the conversation, I do think that it was so important for us to have that communication, because in that moment, I can now see if you show up for me after everything that I told you. Let me see if you show up for me, and if you don't, now I had to say goodbye to you, because now I gave you a chance.
You know.
Yeah, and you know exactly what I needed from you, and you still didn't do it. So now, unfortunately, we have to part ways, and it's okay, because it's no beef.
Yeah.
It's just that I've outgrown you now.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
think that's important. And I don't think people think about the fact that loving your friends is not that much different than loving your partner. Because really your partner should be your friend anyway.
Yeah.
But you do need to know people's love languages, because we tend to love people the way we want to be loved.
Yes.
And we're not being loved that way. So we're treating them that way to show them,
it's like, I showed
this
up
is
for
how
you.
I want to be loved. But
Yeah.
it doesn't resonate with that person, because they're like, well, that's not how I receive
Right,
love.
right.
So if everybody's thinking about how the other person receives love, then everybody's loved.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And just like you said, every friendship is a relationship. And I also felt like, just like any relationship, if your man ain't pouring into you, you gonna stay with him? If your man ain't loving you the right way, are you gonna stay with him? And I still bring that same relationship into my friendship. And people like to say, oh, I don't like the word, if a relationship isn't giving me anything, that I don't want it. But it's like, maybe I'm wording that wrong. But
Like if I'm not getting anything out of it.
yeah, if I'm not getting anything out of it, then I don't want the relationship or the friendship. But it's like, that's a normal thing. Like, why is that?
Both people should be getting something out
Yes,
of it.
it should be poor. Like,
Absolutely.
And sometimes people are like, yeah, but I don't like to say that. Like, I use it. No, you should be able to use me as a friend to get what you need.
Absolutely.
And I should be able to use you to get. That's what it's about. We're going to build it up so that we can all grow together. And I think that people always get that confused.
The healthiest relationships that we have with people are when there's reciprocity. Period.
Yes.
I love my children to death. There's no reciprocity.
Right. That's your broke best friends.
My broke besties, love them to death. But when they get grown, our relationship will have to shift.
Right.
Or it's going to be a problem. Because I'll be like,
Said mama want to be outside with her feet up, okay?
Thank you.
Right.
You're paying.
I paid for you all your life. You take care of this bill.
Reciprocity, baby. I mean, that is, but you know, people like to fawn and fake like oh no, I just do it out of the kindness of my heart. Yes,
right.
We should do things we want to do out of kindness of our heart. However,
God bless you.
The human nature is you want to receive it back.
Absolutely.
And when you can't, I think the hardest thing for me with friendships is when your life changes. You know, you were friends with someone and, you know, you lived in the same city.
Yeah.
You did all the same things and then you move away.
Right.
Or you get a certain type of job that puts you in a certain class of financial classification. And it's like, okay, how do I navigate the friendships that I had in those relationships when, you know, I want to go eat here.
With my new friends. Yeah. Oh, yeah, or that, yes.
And I don't want to make that person feel bad that they can't afford it. And I don't always want to have to pay.
Right.
I don't always want to have to pay.
Right.
I don't. Like that, and I don't know.
I'm always the rich friend.
No,
Sometimes
and that's the other thing. They look at you and they think you're the rich friend, you got it. And it's like, no. I don't. I got bills. First of all, with this increased income came an increase of responsibility.
Yep.
And I got to pay a lot to a lot of people.
And I think the other thing is when your friends see that you're in a relationship and then it's like they're not in a relationship, it's like you don't understand. Yes, you got it because your man paid for everything. Well, yes, but at the same time, I still got bills. I still do my part. Yeah. So, you know,
and that's not my fault. And what are you talking about?
So I'm still trying to like navigate.
What?
So
then I need to be your man because I got a man. Then now I need to be your man. And I need to pay for you. Girl, bye.
Right.
No.
It's like, please sit down. But sometimes it's hard to have the conversations because it's like, also sometimes people are one track minded and they just can't get out of that. And when that happens, I'm now like, okay, now I got to take a back seat from you. Like you got to take a back seat. I'm gonna keep going. You meet me. If you meet me, if you don't, you don't. Right. And I feel like, I don't know. I just feel like times are changing. I always say like after COVID, people just got weird. Very weird.
Girl. What people did, they got weird, they got lazy.
Oh, yes.
And nobody wants to work for anything. Nobody wants to go out of their way for people. It's just like a lot of, what is the word? Like a lethargic type of feeling and like attitude about life. It's like, what's the very minimum that I can do? I'm gonna do that.
That is true. That is true. I don't know, like now thinking about it, like I know I do have my lazy moments. I do. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. Sometimes I'm like, I don't feel like filming today. I don't want to do it. You know, especially if I'm not feeling up to par or like I feel like my hair isn't done. There's sometimes I get on there and I'll be like, I don't care. I look like this.
Your hair is always gorgeous. Even when it's just blown out, it's gorgeous.
But I'm just learning to just like still in those moments, like, and this is why I always tell my people now. I got like this new series now where I call it So it's like I'm your accountability person where it's like,
so I saw it. You're like, you didn't feel like,
It's like you didn't want to record today, but you want to make money. Okay. So it's like I'm not saying that you're wrong, but I'm not saying that you're wrong. You know. Right. But you know, even with that, I'm like, I'm gonna still show up as me, and people are still gonna love me. That's why I'm always telling or encouraging like my peers to just put the content out, put it out, do it exactly what you want to do. Just do it. Mm-hmm. Don't care about anything. Don't overthink it. And I can overthink at times, but at the end of the day, when I sit down, I'm like, whatever I put out, people love it. So why not just keep doing it?
Yeah, because you're being yourself.
Yeah. So I think that's
part.
Yeah, it's just the biggest part of everything.
Awesome. So first of all, I love your little saying that you say.
Oh, okay.
What is it? Tell the people.
So it's stay true, stay you, be that bitch through and through.
I love it. Okay,
Yes.
I love that one, and I love. It's not a saying. It's like
Another
a
one?
little about the Lord. It's like
Yes. So it's good morning, y'all. If you haven't thanked God for another day, make sure you thank Him for another day, because without Him there will be no other days.
Yes.
Can I get an amen?
I love that. I love
Yes.
that.
It's funny, actually, not to cut you off.
No.
I came up with that in my darkest time. Like, I was so depressed one month. I couldn't even tell you why I was depressed. Couldn't tell you why I was crying every day. And I just started watching church every day. I was like, God, give me an answer. Please tell me, what is it? Like, what am I feeling? And I would wake up every morning after I watched church, or after I read, like, I have like a little Bible app where I read a verse. Well, they give me a verse every morning. And after that, I was just like, good morning, y'all, if you haven't thanked God. And then it just became a thing. And people are actually like looking for it. Like, okay,
It's so
good morning.
cute. I love it.
Yeah. So
cute.
you know, I'm putting it on a t-shirt. Both of them.
You should. You absolutely should. What do you like most about yourself?
I love how real I am. Like, I love how real I am in any room that I walk in. Like, I'm always going to be goofy. I'm always going to be funny. Even if you don't like me, I'm still going to make you laugh.
Right.
And I think that I love that the most about me, because I never conform to the room. Like, I always just like be myself, and it has always gotten me into the next room or to the next blessing. And I think that that's something that I just love about myself.
Yeah, I love that. So a lot of people ask this question. They want you to look back. They say, like, if you could say anything to your 20-year-old self, what would it be? I'm going to change it.
Yeah, because
If you could say anything to your 40-year-old self,
ooh,
what would it be? What encouragement would you give to your 40-year-old
are we rich
self?
yet?
Are we? I don't know.
Are we successful? But what would I tell her? Continue being you. Continue to be a light. Don't let the world change you. Because I feel like a lot of times, like, you know, things that I may run into or trials that I may go through, sometimes that can change me. You know, like for example, being on a reality TV show, that kind of like for a short minute, it like stumped my confidence a little bit, because it was like I worried about everything that I said after that. Because like now I'm like, people are watching me.
They can twist it.
Ooh,
I was on a reality show too when I first
Yeah.
got to LA. I was on this reality show called
Wait,
Stage
say.
Black. It was called Stage Black. David E. Talbert.
Oh, I want to watch it.
David E. Talbert did and Morris Chestnut did it was like an acting competition.
Oh, I was gonna say, was it a game show?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
an acting competition. I auditioned for it. It's like when I first got to LA, and it was on TV1 at the time.
Okay.
And it was like me and like maybe 9 other people. I think
Yeah.
it was like 10 of us, and
Were you the only black woman?
No, it was a black.
Oh.
Everybody was black.
Love that.
I was the only one that had actually like studied acting, went to college for it, you know, but they had like some people that were like singers that wanted to get into acting. It was a very interesting, eclectic group of people.
That's a great word.
But
I use that for my past too.
But I ended up getting kicked off the show. Like I didn't win the show.
Got you.
Which is crazy.
Right. How dare them?
Do you see the pressure? Hello?
I mean, but they kicked me off the show for it was ridiculous.
Stupid,
and then
yeah.
of course wanted me to come back on the show. But
Of course.
But when I watched the show back, it really triggered that part of me that I was talking about, where I was like, people are always like taking what I'm saying the wrong way, or like making it seem like I think I'm better than everyone else or whatever. Because that's what they did. They took some things that I said and like
twisted it. Oh my
twisted
gosh.
it to where, you know, and this is when blogs and stuff had,
Yeah.
you know, just kind of first started. So people were on the blog and they're like, she thinks you know, and then I had people sticking up for me like, she's the best one on the show.
Right. I had that too. I had a good balance. I'm not gonna lie. I had a really good balance, but like, the biggest thing for me
What
is
was
when
the show you were on?
So it was Surviving Paradise on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not a reality show watcher, but okay.
So on there, it was me and another black girl.
Okay.
And obviously we're gonna be friends. Like I saw her and she was like, I loved her personality, and obviously we're gonna get the black jokes. So we're gonna make the jokes on the show. And they just made me look like the worst friend in the world. Like the worst. And I me and her like walked through that show because my discernment was so good that I knew the next move that was going to happen. So I would tell her, yo, do this, do that. And they twisted that to make me look like I was just playing her. Yeah, like I was, like she was my puppet. And I'm like, this girl got her own mind. She went to college. She is like a police, like she is like the big black girl, right? Like I feel like how they casted me.
You were the hustler.
Yeah, I was a hood black girl, and she was I went to school.
But I say that to say they made me look like I was just like this user, like, and I used her to get to where, and I'm like, she would have never gave me half of that money if I was that. If I was the person that y'all say that I was, she would have never gave me that money. And I think that we were a good duo in that show. But I say all of that to say, you know, that kind of like shifted my confidence a little bit, because now I'm like, let me watch what I say, because people are always going to come at me and say something.
Yes.
And then it's like I brought up my father on the show, so now people got a new leverage on that. And it's like I'm very sensitive about my father. Okay, I could talk about my daddy, but you can't talk about my daddy.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it was just a lot of things that I guess like pulled me back to be like, I don't want to say that, or I don't want to. And I had to slowly get out of that to be like, you know what? I don't care what people say. Like it was, I always said that before until I got the magnitude of people that was watching me, or that looked into my page, looked into my life, where I was like, okay, I had trolls, but these are trolls. Like you on my every post. Like I wake up in the morning and it's like, bitch, I hate you. And I'm like, damn. I'm like, hello, good morning.
Oh my
like,
God.
Have a blessed day. So,
like, bitch, I hate you too.
Right. That's what I wanted to say.
I love women, but I hate you.
you know, so it's funny, I had made a post and I said, you know, all of the people that hate me is well, you know, not that cute. And I was like, all the bad bitches love me.
Right.
The ones that hate me. But you know,
yourself.
yeah, you know, so that ruffled some feathers, but I think that it took time, but I actually got to a point where I was like, you know what? I don't care. As long as my family know me, my friends know me, I could care less what the world thinks about me.
Absolutely.
Spread the rumor. Believe it, please.
Right.
Because I'm not going to tell you otherwise.
And it's none of my business.
None of my business.
That's what I learned. That's what I think I've learned, that what you think about me is none of my business, whether it's good or bad. Because see, we get, and this is something I learned when I booked my first TV show on BET. I was a lead of a show called Rebel, and I was so nervous about what people were going to think about me, about how I looked. I mean, I had never been a lead on a television show. So I'm like, my face is going to be on this show every single week for all these scenes. Not only was I the lead of the show, but I was pretty much in every single scene of every single episode. Yeah. So I was nitpicking myself apart, what my body looked like, my face, you know, I'm just worried about that. And you know, of course, there's social media. Stars back in the day didn't have to worry about these things because there was no social media. Ooh. So they didn't have to hear constantly or read constantly. Like they might have to read something when the newspaper came out. Yeah. But not every day being inundated with media saying I like this or I didn't like this, or did you gain weight? Did you, you know, what's wrong with this? Your teeth is crooked, blah, blah, you know, whatever it might be.
Do you have a job, sir?
Exactly.
Or ma'am.
So I had to get myself prepared, you know, for when the show was going to air. And I remember coming across something I read, and it was just saying, you can't get too high and you can't get too low. Mm-hmm. You can't, what people think about you is none of your business, including the good things. You have to be in a place in your life where no matter if your world is falling apart or if you're being elevated, that you are in a sober place where you know who you are. Because sometimes people can say really great things about you and it is not who you are.
That is true.
So if you start to believe that, oh my God, you have the most perfect face in the world. Girl.
Right.
Like, yes, I'm attractive, but stop. Like, nobody has a perfect face. Yeah. Like, you know, but if you start drinking the Kool-Aid, as they say, or believing the lie, or being like, oh, yes, I am. You know what? You're right. I am. That's all. You know the truth about you. Yes. You know the great things about you. And the bad things. You know the bad things about you. And that's what helps keep your feet in the mud. So that's another thing I learned from a well-known actor. He's like feet in the mud. No matter how much I'm elevated, my feet will be grounded.
Oh, I love that.
Feet in the mud.
Yeah.
I cannot be concerned about what people say about me that's great.
Yeah.
Nor can I be concerned about what people say about me that isn't.
This is
You
my
know?
big sister, y'all.
Thank you so
Yes,
much for
thank
being on the
you.
podcast.
Oh my gosh, thank
I
you.
can't wait. I know we're gonna be friends.
Yes.
And we are going to do some great things
Yes.
together. So
You know, I'm gonna be asking you for everything.
absolutely. I'm here as a resource, you
Yes.
know? I am. I truly am. And then I'm gonna ask you, because I need to get my social media
Yeah.
popping a little bit more.
Make
So I
sure
need
y'all
some-
subscribe, like, and comment.
Yes.
And share it.
Thank you, girl.
Yes, thank you.
That was
I love
awesome.
this.
All the women